Hey guys, and welcome to game number 95 out of 100 of my Human vs. AI series, where I'm taking on the AI-powered Scrabblebot BestBot in a 100-game match. As you can see, I am currently at 40 wins and 54 losses through the first 94 games, so with only 6 games to go, I'm going to need 5 wins to get to 45 wins, which is sort of my goal at this point since I, of course, cannot mathematically win the series anymore. But we'll see. It's going to be a tall order. That being said, I am on a good streak. I've won the last 2, so hoping that today goes well. The bot is taking its time on its opening play here. It's already taken over a minute, and we're going to see what it ends up going with. It's a bit ominous. I feel like often the bot takes a really long time, makes me think it's got like a bad rack, and then it just bingos for like 90. So, especially given I don't have a great rack here, certainly no possible bingos, and I don't see any great plays with my Z. I'm really hoping the bot does not bingo for 90 points, but we'll just have to wait patiently and see what it has in mind. And okay, good news, it does not bingo. It plays pound for 22, so not a terrible outcome for us by any means. And now I need to figure out what I want to do. The best play looks at first to be Uzo for 26. The ZU combo is deceptively difficult to work with, and this cleans up my rack very nicely. Hide is a good leave, scores 26 points. I can score more. I mean, I can play like Doozy, but HU is pretty clunky. So I'm not a huge fan of that. I guess there's also Piezo, but I don't want to keep HDU and also give back big overlaps with the Z. So yeah, Uzo looks pretty good to me. I don't really think there's much else here to consider playing over it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And alright, I draw okay. Probably no bingos here, but not a terrible rack. I should have some hopefully decent scoring options between the B and the H, but we'll see. I don't have a ton of plays that stand out here, but we'll see what the bot does, I suppose. If the board stays as is, yeah, the thing is it's tricky for me to get rid of both my B and my H. Like, I really don't want to do something like Herb, give back a big S hook as well as a Y hook. So, I don't know, I might have to just play something like Hin, setting up the D for Hind. I mean, Bread is not a bad leave, so it's not a terrible option. But we'll see. I guess I could also consider something like, Fishing. I mean, this probably hits a decent amount. Obviously, though, it's really going to depend a lot on what the bot does. So let's just wait and see. It's taken its time again here. It's already taken a minute as it did before, so always interesting when the bot spends a lot of time early on. Hard to know what that means, but we'll see. And the bot plays Mood for 20. Interesting. Doesn't give me back a whole lot, I don't think. Dropping the H with and of course, no longer an option. MUH is not a word. I guess I could play Herb over here. It's okay. It's still not great, though. DIN is not a amazing leave. I feel like I'd rather just turn over tiles, honestly, and play Blind. It's also a lot more. It's 28 points, so that gets me 7 more points. To me, H is just a better leave on this board than DIN. Like, without an S, it's not that easy to bingo on this board, and DIN is not a good scoring leave. Like, the H is a good tile because I can easily bingo with the H, and I can also easily score with the H. It's just like a good kind of insurance policy tile to keep. Like, I feel like the H is actually the best such tile, or like the best, you know, the tile that best fits that kind of description. Because, like I said, you can often bingo with it. There's lots of bingos with H's, you know, CH, SH, TH. It goes really well with a lot of tiles, but also it's an insurance policy because if you don't bingo, it's a flexible 4-point tile you can often score with. So that's why I like H's so much. M's are kind of like that too. So I think I'm going to just play Blind, keep the H. I guess I could also play Behind, now that I see that. Well, that could go here. About the same score, 29 versus 28. Keeps an R versus an H. I mean, the R is fine too, but this gives back a lot more on the right. So I think for just 1 point, I'd rather play Blind, keep things a little bit tighter, and keep that H. I think it's probably slightly worse on equity, but it surely gives back considerably less. So I think the better defense makes up for it. And I pull the J, which is probably going to be a little bit difficult to deal with here. I guess I'll probably play G's. I mean, I don't love getting rid of both of my E's, but I do need to get rid of that J. I don't have like any words starting with a J on this rack. I guess there's G or Gear, but neither of those are particularly exciting. Could also play, if I want to keep my E's, Jin for 20. It's a pretty good leave where it makes a decent number of bingos and good scoring plays, but I'm giving up a lot of points over G's, so probably don't want to do that. Also creating a D hook I don't have, which is not a huge concern with only one D left. But I guess there's also Je over here. But I think G's, assuming it stays open, is probably best. I mean, there's enough E's still unseen that I'm not too worried about getting rid of both of them. But it's obviously going to depend a lot, too, on what the bot does, how much it scores, and whether it opens. But it's taken a lot of time again, so it's interesting. Well, it'll be interesting to see what the bot has had on these first couple of turns, because it's averaging almost 2 minutes a turn now for its first 3 turns. It's also worth keeping in mind, too, guys, if a G ever comes onto my rack, I'll want to keep G pound, a G-E-E pound, in mind as an extension. It's not like a huge scoring play. It's 36 points, but could be a good rack cleaner-upper potentially, or just a good little way to score some points on an otherwise dead board. So I don't have it now, but if I were to get a G and 2 E's, definitely want to keep that in mind. And, okay, Bonds for 40 comes down. Interesting. So I don't think that helps me a ton. I mean, I don't have anything. I really want to get rid of this J. I don't want to play like Brew or something and keep E-H-I-J on my rack. Definitely not. Jibber doesn't get to the triple. I don't really see anything great through that B or that A. I mean, yeah, I just don't have anything starting with the J. Haji keeping E-W-E-R. It's not particularly good. I think I'm still leaning towards G's. I mean, WHIR is not a great leave, but at least I have Whir through the R and Brind as a backup option. And it could turn into a pretty good leave if I draw well. So I don't hate it. It's also 36 points, blocks the B and the A. So it's probably the best option I have. As much as, like I said, I don't love getting rid of my E's, there's a lot of them left. And I still think getting rid of the J is the top priority here. It's not a good tile in general, and especially on a tight board like this. So yeah, let's play G's here, and we'll see what we can get. Alright, that's a good draw. Whip Raise with a P, very unlikely. Haywires with an E is much more likely, depending on what the bot does, especially if it bingos. As of right now, I don't have a whole lot. I guess I could play something through this R. Yeah, I could play Worry for 38. That looks pretty good. If that stays open, which has a decent chance of doing. Anything from the B? I have like Braw, but YISH is not a particularly good leave. So yeah, definitely Worry looks best by a good margin, assuming it stays open. Oh, I also have Moody, actually. Let's not forget about that. Yeah, honestly, Y is not a terrible play. I mean, this is not bad at all. 31 points. It sets up Y, as Y takes it back S, and AIRS is a pretty good bingo leave. I mean, Worry is probably still better because it's 7 more points, and it's not a great board for bingoing, but Y is definitely not a bad fallback option by any means. And it looks like I may need to take it because Kadi comes down blocking Worry. Do I have anything like almost Daiwan or something? Anything ending in IRAN or IWAN? I don't think so. So yeah, probably just Y is fine. I mean, AIRS is a good leave. Doesn't really give anything back to the bot. Probably scores about as well as anything here that doesn't burn the S. There's no reason to burn the S here if I don't need to. I don't want to do something super aggressive like this. Because also, well, 2 reasons. Number 1, I don't need to at this score. Number 2, this leave is just not good enough, keeping the W. I'm not that likely to have something there. And number 3, there's still 2 S's unseen. I mean, Bonds certainly does not indicate another S by any means. It's a high-scoring enough play, but there's still enough of a chance, I think, that the bot has an S that if I don't have a compelling reason to do something like that, I'd rather not. So I think I'm going to just play Moody and Y. Looks like a pretty good option. So let's see how I can draw poorly. There's a, I believe there's a Collins only 7 of Sawari. So for NWL players do not, I think it's spelled like this, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong about that. Collins players who are watching can correct me. I believe that is a word in Collins I've seen before, but it is not good in NWL, so not going to help me a whole lot here. Aqua has to be best. I mean, 26 points clears out my rack. Oh, there's actually an aid of parousia. Just got added to the dictionary with a P, if I am fortunate enough to get the remaining P as a floater, but it's pretty unlikely. Gig, so that blocks Aqua. I guess I'll probably, because Suwari is good in NWL like this. I guess I probably need to just do this now. It's just not worth it to hold on to the S. I can still get 34 points, clear out my rack, and there just aren't enough other good options. Like, what am I going to do from this B? I mean, there's just nothing that gets rid of 3 vowels there. Like, it's not worth it to do something like this. I mean, for 18 points, keeping AIOS, absolutely not. So, yeah, I think Suwari has to be best. So let's just go ahead and do that. And, alright, well, if the R stays open, I have Miliar or Ramily. Ramily can be spelled with either 1 L or 2 L's. Of course, I play with 2 L's here. That's 82. I might want to also consider, though, playing Miliar, because it's 74. It's 8 less points, which is a lot. But it doesn't put that E right in the middle of the triple line with blank, blank, RRR, SS, all those T's I'm seeing. That's pretty scary, especially taking a lead. So I could very well see an 8-point sacrifice here, but it's going to depend on what the bot does, of course. Welp! I think I'm winning this game. The bot has, I mean, seemingly blocked my bingos by playing to the R, but it gave me another R to work with. And Miliar, guys, is now a triple. So that's going to be 149 points. So, I mean, well, I drew the blanks, or one of the blanks, so that's very good. I mean, it's not over, because 105, 2 bingos can definitely make that up, and there's still plenty of time left. So it's not over, but that was certainly a good sequence of events for us. A very good break. It's always very satisfying when, like, your opponent, especially with a bingo, blocks your bingos, and you're like, oh, shoot. You know, not only did they block, but they bingoed, and then you're like, oh, wait, they gave me something better. And now the bot bingos again with Confetto, so a lot of fireworks here in the last couple of turns. I still have a lead, and I have the last blank, so I'm still in good shape, but I have some clunky stuff here, so I need to definitely remain vigilant here and make sure I seal the deal, because I do not want to lose this game at this point, that's for sure. There's just a lot of stuff I want to get rid of here. That's the thing. And it's not easy to get rid of all of it. I wonder if, honestly, I wonder how insane this is. It's probably insane. But, like, depending on what my other options are, it's 49 is a lot of points. It clears out my rack super nicely. Like, okay, I think it's better than this. Because, I mean, it's 25 more points. The blank is only worth, like, high 20s to 30, and IOUV is terrible. Like, unless I can get rid of at least one of my V and my U, ideally both of them, and score pretty well, honestly, I think I'm going to play Javier. I guess there's Whoop. How do we feel about Whoop for 24? Honestly, I hate to say it, I still think Javier is better. It's 25 more points. That's almost the value of a blank right there. P is way better than IOV, so like equity-wise, it's probably almost equal. And I mean, look what this does positionally. It's really not something I want to do with a lead if I can help it, even though I have the blank. Yeah, wow. I mean, it just feels so wrong to play the blank for 49, but it's just, again, given how clunky my rack is and how well it cleans out the rack, I think it does have a lot of merit. It's a really weird-looking play to make. And it might still be wrong, but again, other than Whoop, like, what am I going to do? I don't have anything through the A in Retailer, I don't think. Like, yeah, that doesn't work. There's nothing from this B. Anything else through this A? Not really. Yeah, like, what else am I going to do here, guys? I think it's Javier and Whoop, and I think Javier is a better play. So, I mean, I'm going to go up 80 points, so I often will outrun bingos, even if the bot gets one. Let's do it. Wow. That is a interesting draw, to say the least. Honestly, probably not a bad draw. Like, yeah, I have no vowels, but I got both of the last S's, so now I know at least the bot isn't going to have an S for Haviers, which is a big line I created. So, and I have some vowels to work with in Haviers, so I can probably just play like Spurt or something and clear out some of these consonants. Like, as long as I can do that, then I don't think I'm in terrible shape. This was definitely not the draw I expected, though, with all those vowels and scoring tiles still unseen, to draw NRSSTT. At first I was like, dang it, I have no vowels. And I was like, well, I got the last two S's, so actually this is probably pretty good. I can also play PST and Haviers, but I definitely don't want to give back that line on the bottom, especially holding no vowels. That's very dangerous, creating a line like that you might not be able to block, depending on what you draw, especially having a lead. So I need to be careful here. And hopefully the bot doesn't like make some sort of big setup that I can't deal with. That's what I'm a little concerned about. That's why it's always scary having no vowels when you have a lead, because you know your opponent's going to try to open stuff up. And if you can't deal with it, or if you have no vowels, you often can't deal with it. So, yeah, we'll just have to see what it comes up with. But yeah, probably going to try to play like Strip or Spurt or something on the right. It also blocks pretty well, which is nice. Interesting. So the bot also playing off consonants with Tech for 12. So definitely want to try to block a little bit and also burn through these consonants. Yeah, I still think Spurt is pretty reasonable. I mean, I'm not going to get much more than 16. Maybe I should even play Strunt, actually. I wonder if I should play Strunt, because the P is a better scoring tile. And, I mean, I'm pretty unlikely to end up with no vowels again either way, given how balanced the pool is at this point. 11 vowels, 12 consonants. So you could kind of go either way, but I kind of like having the P, actually, for scoring. So it's only a 2-point sacrifice. But I think this is reasonable. It blocks a lot. It blocks almost everything, really, other than the I and Havier. Like, actually, yeah, where else is the bot bingoing besides the I? It's very hard to see. Where? The I in Suari is blocked. The OUR in Havier is blocked. I have the last S for Haviers. I guess it could theoretically bingo through the B in Brind. Maybe with ABLE. It's possible. It's pretty unlikely, but I guess we'll want to watch out for that depending on how the game goes later on. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go with Strunt here. I feel like I'm in pretty good shape. And there are some vowels. Okay. 11 in the bag. It's hard to imagine how the bot's going to win this game, but I'm sure it's going to give it an effort. And the L is a very good tile for me to draw, because now I don't have to worry about ABLE bingos through that B I was talking about in Brind. So it's going to be probably next to impossible now for the bot to bingo through that B. There's enough tiles unseen, I can't just look at that and be like, I'm 100% sure there's nothing through that B, but I feel fairly confident there's very little, if anything, through that B. And I've got some decent scoring options here. I can play Ilya for 26, keeping PIS, which is a good leave. And, alright, the bot plays Vetter for 27, so I might want to address the bottom right. On the other hand, like, it's not even easy for the bot to bingo to an R with that pool. And I definitely don't want to play anything under Haviers and give back potentially big plays under there on the 15th row. So that's a no-go. Like, do I even have to block the bottom right? I guess it's probably possible for the bot to bingo there. I wonder, maybe I can just do, like, I can't do SIP because of SIPE. I mean, I could also, I don't want to play NAP because of NAPE, but I guess I could play PA for 18. I mean, it's pretty tough to lose after that, honestly. You know what else I could do? I could play Tip for 5. I have the last S and the last I. The bot isn't bingoing through the P. This is actually probably my best play for spread. I mean, like, what does the bot do after this? I think it probably has to just throw in the towel and block with something like Axe, and then, I mean, I just obviously win. I can play Ilya next turn. And I'm often going to bingo there. Like, if the bot can't block, I'm going to just bingo for 80, often drawing into that pool with this rack. Yeah, I think this is the right play. It's almost inconceivable to me that I could lose after this. I know that's famous last words, but it really is. I mean, there's no hooks for tip unseen. There's nowhere for the bot to bingo. And I have a lot of threats on the bottom, so let's do it. And alright, I draw 2 more vowels, so I'm not going to be bingoing, but I mean, that's fine. Like, whatever the bot does, it's not going to be able to outscore me. And it can play axe, cafe. Huh. It's an interesting play. Okay. I mean, let me just make sure there's nothing here. There's agentry with if the X is unseen, but I don't know where that's going. I guess I just have to be careful. Like, if I do play Ilya, right, making sure I don't give back agentry or something. Yeah, I almost do, but WEG is not good. I also need to make sure I don't give back, like, a big X play. I don't believe I would. There's definitely nothing through that B. Yeah, Gentry doesn't fit because Nat is not good. Energy would fit. Maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I could just play something with tips, I guess. Or I could play AE here. Maybe I just play AE. And I often have a 6 with tips next turn. Like, I don't mind emptying the bag. The bot has no threats. Yeah, I probably just play AE, honestly. Like, I'm going to have a 6 with tips. That's going to be very annoying for the bot to block the majority of the time. And this scores pretty well. It doesn't give back big plays, potentially, like Ilya does. Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to see how I possibly can lose the game, or even come close to losing the game after this. So I'm going to go ahead and play that. And I drew another A. So now I get all the vowels. Interesting, I went from all these constants to all the vowels, but the bot is not going to have a whole lot with only 1 vowel. Now, I don't really have any threats with TP or tips, but I'll probably, assuming it stays open, which it probably won't, the bot will probably try to block Ilya. I'll probably just do that and then go out with AS. But the bot's probably going to think for a while here, guys. The game is won, so let's just wait and see what the bot does. And the bot ends up just scoring with X and G's for 43. So that makes sense. It's a lot of points. It has G and RTY, so it's definitely not going to go out. Unless I'm careless and give it an E for Gentry or an I for trying, which I am not going to do. So yeah, I mean, probably just Ilya. Is AS going to go out for a lot? Yeah, I guess Javier's and SAE. Or I could also try to play, I mean, AIS here is a lot. Maybe I just play AL. Let's see. So AIS is 22. AL is 22. So that would get me 44. Ilya is 26. And Say is 19. That's 45. So Ilya is still 1 better, it looks like, if you combine the score of the 2 plays. And I mean, does Ilya, let me just make sure, this doesn't give him any place for, like, try, right? No, it doesn't really help the bot at all. I don't even know what the bot is going to do next. Doesn't have a whole lot. Maybe just Oxy even? We'll see. I guess I do give it Bing. Maybe I don't want to give it, yeah, but if I play Ale, then I also give it something there. Because I can just play Bang. I mean, it gets stuck with the Y if I plays Bing, so I don't think that's particularly good for the bot. I guess I could play, unless I play Say first, but then I can just play Rye. No, okay, I think Ilya is fine. I don't want to overanalyze this. Let's just do that. And then, oh, okay, so it does that instead. That actually makes more sense, and now I'm going to just go out here. And that should do it for this one. So, okay, here we go, guys. Another win, 446, 385. It was a good game. I mean, Javier was a really kind of bizarre play to make, but we'll see if I missed anything. But I feel like it was pretty good. Let's go back to the beginning. So, all right, the bot took a while here. I guess probably just debating between Pound and Mound, maybe Dump? That doesn't look like a great play, though. DNO is, to me, not a good enough leave to justify the point sacrifice. Yeah, Pound looks fine if you ask me. Oh, should I play Uzo here? You know, maybe I should have played it here, actually. Because I have the H for That's funny, I didn't even consider it here. Just, like, instinctively, I was like, this one is better because it doesn't put a vowel next to the triple letter. But actually, like, the U is not risky. There's really not a whole lot that goes next to the U on the right other than the H. And I do have it. And I don't give back an S hook I don't have. So maybe I should have actually played it there. That's interesting. I didn't even think about that. Always good to, not jump to conclusions too much. And it's not a huge difference, but sometimes these little things can have ripple effects for the rest of the game. You'd be surprised. So yeah, probably a very, very small inaccuracy on my part there. Certainly nothing major. Bot plays Mood. Could have played Mongo, but I don't think there's a good reason for it to blow the board open at this point. So Mood seems fine. Yeah, I figured behind would be slightly higher in equity. I mean, the R is just a better bingo tile than the H, but it's only one more point. It just gives back a lot between the I and the double line, the N and the D. Brian keeps it much tighter, keeps the H for scoring. I think it's a much better play. Bot plays Bonds. That makes sense. Yeah, and that's maybe why my placement of Uzo was not so good. Just giving these kind of plays back very often later in the game. Yeah, I think G's is fine. I saw Haji and Joe. I saw almost all these plays. I didn't see Hijra, but EEW is kind of a self-descriptive lead. It's kind of ew. And the bot can just score like 40 points very easily next to the H and the I. So I think G's is perfectly reasonable here. So far, I'm pretty happy with how I'm playing. And yeah, Y seems pretty good here too. Just not a whole lot of other options. Bot plays Gig. Yeah, it seems fine. Tile is a good leave. No reason for the bot to do this. It's still a pretty even game. Yeah, Suwari here is pretty much forced. I mean, there's just no good plays that hold DS. Like, you got to be willing to get rid of it in these kind of situations. And now, ironically, it actually wouldn't have really mattered which retailer the bot played, because either way, I was triple A with Milliar. And yeah, that was a play I very badly needed to find, because my next best option is a whopping 118 points worse. So, got to know those 8s. Bot bingos with Confetto. Yeah, Javier looks good. I saw Whoop. I saw Pavier, but obviously it's better to just play the H. It's 6 more points. Yeah, the next best option is Gov for 9. Wow. In terms of equity. Yeah, I mean, I think Javier is fine, and it's important, I guess, guys, the lesson on this turn is that it's important to keep an open mind when you have the blank, to not get too attached to it. Like, obviously, you don't want to get rid of it without a good reason to, but sometimes, especially if you have a clunky rack, you'd be surprised how little sometimes you need to score to justify getting rid of the blank. Now, if this were 30 points, I definitely would have done it, but for 49, it looks absolutely worth it here. So, very interesting and instructive position there. I'm happy with my decision, though. And the bot, it didn't play Vector. What did it do? Oh, it just played Tech. I guess it probably figured with Vector it closes down too much. Although, I don't know, there's still 2 S's left, and the bot obviously doesn't know I just drew them both. I might have been more inclined to play Vector and hope that my opponent missed the S's, and then Javier's could prove kind of annoying to deal with. But I guess you also block the I. Yeah, maybe, I guess the bot is probably going for, like, Inverter and stuff, Inventor maybe from this I. Perhaps in Suwari, because that'll also score a lot more points. I'm guessing that's what the bot is going for. And there are enough vowels. Invertin also. Okay, yeah, I guess I can see that. And then, yeah, here, Strunt does not come near the top on equity, which is not surprising. Yeah, there's no way I'm doing this, keeping no vowels at this score. Absolutely not. Or this. That's just a waste of an S. I mean, I guess I could also, maybe I could play Pines as well and just try to go for a bingo with Javier's, but honestly, I think Strunt is totally fine. Like, I kind of prefer keeping the P for scoring. I don't need to bingo here. Like, I'd rather keep the P to try to, if the bot were to bingo somehow, be able to score and outrun it. And I turn over more tiles just to really ensure I get a more flexible rack. PS is still a very good leave. I could easily still bingo with it. I think Strunt is fine. And now the bot plays Vetter. Didn't want to play ER over here yet, because now there's no I open for, like, Inventor and stuff, so may as well do this and hope for some miracle bingo to the R. Yeah, I mean, I wonder, I'm going to just check. Is there anything the bot could have even had to that R? Like, there's probably something, but I'm not positive. Wow, so I just looked it up, guys, on my phone, and there is nothing. There is absolutely nothing possible for the bot to that R Inventor in this entire pool. That is insane. And I assume that there's nothing through that B either. No. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, that's so hard to determine with 100% certainty in the game. Like, yeah, if I'm positive there's nothing to that R, then I probably should just play PIU. But in practice, like, as a human, I'm not going to have 100% confidence with 6 tiles still in the bag. I mean, that's like 13 choose 6 different possible racks, which is in the thousands without doing the math. I mean, there's some duplication, so maybe it's not quite that high, but it's in the many hundreds, if not thousands. Like, I can't go through all that in my head. And tip, like I said, it's hard to imagine losing. And it has a lot of upside, too, giving myself this S and I hook. And yeah, the bot here, I think, doesn't really have all that much. Plays Kaif. I mean, maybe hoping to draw something with tips or TP. Again, though, like, I guess the bot probably isn't inferring, which is maybe why it did this. Like, against a human, this is probably not worth it. Because, like, no human in their right mind is playing tip without both the I and the S. You could maybe hope that they missed the I hook on TP. They're not going to miss tips if they're playing tip. They could miss TP, so maybe hope to draw the I and that they miss the TP hook and try to save their S. I don't know. It's a pretty long shot, so I would probably just throw in the towel here and play like F or Fakir, but okay. I mean, maybe you can draw like rentable. Maybe it's going for like rentable through the B? I guess I could see that. Try and draw ALE for rentable. I guess I could sort of live with that. Hope that maybe I get caught with the X and you bingo out with rentable. I guess that's not unreasonable. And yeah, now here I just knew that there was nothing that was a possibility for the bot, so I just played AE. And then surely Ilya is better than a C. I'm definitely not getting as much for IL on my outplay. And yeah, that's pretty much that. So another good game for us. I feel very happy with how I played there. Yeah, very pleased. No clear mistakes. Uzo actually probably should have played in the other spot on my first turn, but not a big mistake one way or another. I was very happy with my decision to play Javier. I think it worked out well, and it was a good, if not slightly counterintuitive play to burn the blank there for 49 points. So yeah, another solid game. 3 in a row now. We improved to 41 wins. So now we just need 4 out of the last 5. Still going to be tough, but momentum is good, guys. So let's keep at it. And yeah, let's hope for another good game in our next game, game number 96. Wow, we're really getting towards the end of this series. It's hard to believe, but I really appreciate all you guys' support so far. And hope you guys will stick with it for the last couple of games as I do my very best to get my number of wins as high as I possibly can, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So really appreciate all your support, guys. Once again, thanks so much for watching the video, and I'll see you soon for the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.